Level up. Have you ever heard that expression before, right? And we use it in business, we use it in a lot of different areas of our life where we have to step up to a higher level, where we have to go someplace that hasn't been our default, let's put it that way, not our default way of being. What I want to talk to us about is, which levels I'm talking to us about, is the levels of spiritual consciousness. And those of you who've taken my Absolute Abundance courses before might know some of them. There are 4 of them, the 4 spiritual levels of consciousness as illustrated and developed by Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith from Agape and Reverend Paul Hasselbeck, who was here this summer speaking to us. And the 4 levels of consciousness that they have are victim, victor, vessel, and verity consciousness. So I'm going to go through those one at a time. And the first one is victim. We all think we know what that is, right? The victim consciousness. It's the consciousness that may be your default consciousness. Okay, you guys are going to just keep moving around. I'll wait. I'll be the victim of this. I'll give you a demonstration. I'm going to be the victim of this tangled mess of singers and mic cords here. Sorry, I digress. When we do this later, Ryan, we'll cut that section out. Victim consciousness. Victim consciousness is that consciousness that feels put upon. And, say, well, I don't do that. Trust me, we all do it. How many of us say, oh, why does this always happen to me? Oh, here it comes again, waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's all examples of our victim consciousness. Right? Even when things are going well in our lives, we go, well, this isn't going to last. There's this little part of our brain, sometimes a huge part of our brain, that casts this large shadow over our lives that says, this can't stay, or I'm not good enough. When's the bad stuff coming? Looking around the corner. And we even squelch our joy, squelch our happiness in worry about what's going to go wrong, right? That is victim consciousness. And Misa has a song that illustrates it really well. So let's take it, Misa.
Sleep don't come easy. Boy, please believe me. Since you've been gone, everything's going wrong. Why'd you have to say goodbye? Look what you've done to me. I can't stop these tears from falling from my eyes. Oh, baby, I'm going down. I'm going down. 'Cause you ain't around, baby. My whole world's upside down. And it's all your fault.
You will find a lot of victim consciousness in music, right? Oh my God, box to the left, right? It's like somebody done me wrong song, right? It is an endless parade of heartbreak and victimhood in the world, and you cannot escape it. The issue, though, is where do we live? Consciousness, as we describe it, and we're talking about these in these 4 levels of consciousness, is like the lens that you're seeing the world through. Mine are a little cloudy right now, but we take them on as consciousness in ways that we see everything in a particular light, and only in that light. So it's happening to me. The next level of consciousness, though, is the exact opposite of it. It's victor consciousness. And you hear it a lot in Unity. It's like, it's affirmations. I am strong and powerful. As I set my mind to it, the world is overcome. So, you always see victor consciousness in the Superman pose or the Wonder Woman pose. And victor consciousness will lift you up when you are down. And it is this idea that, you pick yourself up by the bootstraps and you get it done. You step up and you make something of your life. And it's powerful because it's the antidote in a lot of ways to being the victim. You see, you get what you want by you saying, I want my bottle now. I will have my bottle, mommy. Good for you, Oliver, right? That is the victor consciousness that is no matter what is going on in our lives, we have the personal power within us, around us, and everywhere through us to overcome it, to climb to the top of the mountain, to climb to the top of the hill, and to make the world a better place. This is, of course, best exemplified by Katy Perry, right?
I got the eye of a tiger, a fighter, dancing through the fire, 'cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar louder, louder than a lion, 'cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar, 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 you're gonna hear me
And even those songs make us feel good. I mean, you go out of a Katy Perry concert or listening to enough of it on Spotify, and you do think you can do anything, right? And it is about changing our mindset and seeing that nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible when we're aligned with God. That's why there's scripture that says it, right? That nothing is impossible with God. When we can step up and be the power, be the champion, be proactive in our lives. And not only shifting consciousness for ourselves, but shifting consciousness for the world by being the example or by doing good deeds in the world, by lifting other people up as well. I am a champion. You're going to see me roar, and I will lift you all with me. Right? And that consciousness is important. It's a very important consciousness for us all to be able to access. We see it in our kids as they're developing when they no longer need us to do things for them. It's a great moment for every parent, and it's also a moment of sadness, too. It's like, ooh, these are independent little things, right? And they're going to roar. They're going to roar and take what's theirs. And that's part of our natural progression. The next level of consciousness that I want to talk about is vessel. And vessel consciousness is a spiritual consciousness in a profound way. And it's in the realization that we are more than these bodies. And we're certainly more than these personalities. Vessel consciousness is best explained in Scripture is when Jesus in the Gospel of John says, "It is not I, but the Father within that does the work." And we say it all the time, and his Spirit prompted me. Spirit gave that to me. Even Unity ministers will use vessel consciousness when we're talking about as we write a talk, and then we leave room for Spirit. We leave room for Spirit to fill in what's not in the talk that our human selves can create. What's the larger talk that needs to come through me today? That I'll gladly be a vessel, a channel for, so that Spirit can illumine the world with greater wisdom than I can grasp at any one moment. And it has a beautiful, beautiful message in all of our music, but nothing more than the iconic Bette Midler. as she teaches us how to use Spirit to lift ourselves. Misa.
It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. Of course I know it. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wish I could be. I can fly higher than an eagle, for you are the wind beneath my wings.
Thank you, Misa. Whether that wind beneath your wings is a lover, a parent, a friend, or the divine itself, God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever we want to call it, there is something in us that is so much bigger than this personality selves. And when we can get out of the way of our own selves enough to soar on eagle's wings, another great song, right? Another great vessel song. That consciousness is expansive and powerful, which leads us to, well, there's not a hierarchy of consciousnesses. I did call this level up. And so the last consciousness is one that we get glimpses of. It's called Verity Consciousness by Paul Hasselbeck. It's also called Oneness Consciousness. The consciousness that knows that we are wholly part of something larger than ourselves. It's that consciousness we glimpse in moments of meditation, and when we come out of it, we can't quite put words to it because putting words to it destroys it. It's that consciousness that knows that there's no difference between us. It's that consciousness that sees people holy, H-O-L-Y, and holy, W-H-O-L-Y. The wholeness of them. To be able to look at a little one, to be able to see the little one in each and every one of you. And more than that, to see the divine, to see the divine expression that each and every one of you are, the unique and magnificent gift that is your life, the unique and magnificent gift that is your loving, and to look past personality quirks and to look past the wounds, because sometimes I know I have led with my wounds rather than who I really am. And so when you see someone else leading with their wounds, the gift of verity consciousness is to look past it and see the wholeness of the person, to see the divine in this human form, to know that this spiritual being that we are is having this exquisite dance as humanity in all of its expressions. And so Callie and Misa are going to sing one of my favorite songs that describes this. Faith Rivera's God Is.
Where I am, God is. Where
stand. God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me. As me, where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me. As me, where I doubt, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer, here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak, truth is. Where I work, love is my career. Where I play, God is playing boldly, in and out and through me. In and out and through me. In and out and through me. As me.
Thank you, ladies. Wow. Yeah, that inspired song, right? It's like one of those moments where music and message take us to a new place. Where I doubt, God is the faith. Where I dance, God is the movement within me. Where I cry, God is the comfort. You know, I love the word God. Because for me, as I've processed it all and left with it all, God does not mean gendered. God doesn't mean a thing in the sky. God is right here, personal and intimate and transcendent, all at the same time. And God is the energy that animates life itself. God is something so great that I cannot begin to describe it. So I get that that may not be your word that works for you. But when you hear me or someone else say it, what I ask is that you crack open your consciousness enough to understand that what we're trying to describe is indescribable. It is the animating principle of everything. It is everything. And we in our little human minds are trying to encapsulate it, and we always fail. Because the magnificence that God is the magnificence that each and every one of you are. The magnificence that transcends the mistakes, that transcends the wounds, that transcends the pain. Karen, on her last day, after we talked and we prayed and laughed, at midnight, she asked to call a friend of hers. asked to call a friend, and she was insistent that the nurses or her sister who was there with her pick up the phone and call this person at midnight. And she said, she'll pick up. So they did, and she did. And she asked this person who she had studied Christian Science with and was a Christian Science practitioner for years to hold a prayer treatment for her. And at midnight on Tuesday night, they prayed together for 10 minutes, a spiritual healing transition prayer from Christian Science. And by 1:30, Karen had left her body. I don't think that's an accident. There is a wisdom within each and every one of us that is bigger than we sometimes behave at. And why I bring up and talk about the levels of consciousness, because it is so important for what our lives look like. If we keep the lens on that we're the victim of everything happening, then that's what we will experience. It is very easy when you have a cancer diagnosis, as Karen is, to be the victim of it. And every time I met with her and saw her and prayed with her, she knew how blessed she was. Yes, she was sad for what she was going through. And yes, she didn't want to give up control. Like, she wanted to be victor of it all. Right? Elizabeth's laughing with me because we both had those conversations with her about allowing life to happen. So we can go from victim and we can go to victor and be so much in control that we can't experience the bliss that is happening in the moment and the gifts of the moment. And so that's where vessel consciousness comes in. And to allow life to unfold as it's supposed to. Because guess what, folks? I know you're all here because you've figured it out. We're not in charge. Are any of us in charge of how life is going to unfold for us? What we are in charge of is what we will make of it. When things wash up on our shore, when diagnoses come and things shift, people die, people leave, jobs come and go, when we get to choose, is this for me or am I a victim of it? Is it Spirit showing me something bigger? Is there a channel of abundance coming into my life right now that if I pause long enough and get out of my victimhood, I can see the blessing in it? And can I pull back far enough and understand it's all divine? It's all divine. Not a single one of us choose to be a victim, and yet we sometimes linger in that consciousness. Why? Well, because we get attention and comfort. We need attention and comfort, don't we? Every single one of us needs attention and comfort. And so when you can realize that, you can then not beat yourself up for your moments of feeling like a victim, but then choose to move on and find comfort in other ways. Find comfort by being a comfort, by being an example, by being the victor or the channel of God's good, the channel of divine substance, the channel of love here in this very, very broken world. We are all still east of Eden. But if we are to create the heaven on earth, the bliss that we all seek, our opportunity comes in what consciousness we're holding. Our opportunity comes in acknowledging where we are and where we want to be. I want to level up. I want to level up my consciousness. I want to level up my understanding so that I have a leveled up experience of life, of love, of work and play and peace. Peace no matter what. Peace in the midst of turmoil and pain. One last Karen story. She was having radiation as part of her treatments. And as she'd go into the radiation treatments, she was very still in the apparatus where they were giving her radiation. And the nurses said to her, I've never experienced someone that is so calm and still while doing this. Usually we have to really work with people. And Karen looked at the nurses and says, well, I'm using this as a meditation experience. And the nurses laughed. And Karen was upset that the nurses laughed. And I get that. But I pointed out to her that that meant that she was so involved in her spiritual practices that they pervaded every area of her life. Not just when things were going well, but every area. And in the midst of all of that pain and treatment, she could be still and calm. That is a consciousness that knows that the treatment is part of the whole experience of life. And the nurses are being us, right? They're not there right now. So we've all made that mistake of discounting other people's spiritual practices, right? Not understanding the journey. In the wholeness of it all, I have been leveled up by my friend, our member and congregant, Karen Ray. In the wholeness of it all, each and every one of you do that for me and do it for each other. This is what a spiritual community is and does. We comfort, we lift, we hold, we support, we celebrate. Today, we level up to a new level of how we want to be in the world. And for each and every one of you, for all of it, I am extraordinarily grateful. Let's take that to our time of meditation.